to Interpreting the Stars, where today I will be reviewing Tom Hanks' latest film, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, where he portrays the legendary Mr. Rogers, but it's not a biopic. At least it's not a biopic about Mr. Rogers. It's a little bit confusing because there's a slight case of false advertising here because the trailers and the posters, they all predominantly feature Tom Hanks. The poster is just Tom Hanks, and that's not really how it should be. The main character is a man named Lloyd Vogel, played by Matthew Rhys. Why he's not on the poster, I'm not entirely sure. The only thing that I can think of is that the image of Tom Hanks sells more than the image of Matthew Rhys, but I digress. I want to know more about the heart and soul. I want to know more about the milieu. So let's get cracking. This review is brought to you by the word of the day, milieu, the atmosphere or ambiance. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood focuses on Lloyd Vogel, a broken but successful magazine writer who often ignores humanity to expose the truth. But when he is tasked to write an article on American hero Fred Rogers, a man that refuses to ignore humanity, the kind, good-hearted nature of Mr. Rogers starts to reshape the way Vogel sees the world. So yeah, I would say there's some false advertisement when it comes down to the marketing for this film, but it's probably the best kind of false advertising because when it comes right down to it, no, it's not a biopic about Fred Rogers, but I seriously doubt that Mr. Rogers would even want a biographical film about his life. Instead, I feel like he would have been proud about what this movie does, which takes the focus off of him and looks at this hurting, broken man. What's more, I feel like his voice comes from beyond through Tom Hanks to spread this message in a way that is authentic and matches his own vision. That shouldn't be surprising though, because Tom Hanks did work with Mr. Rogers' widow to make sure that they got everything right. People often say that the casting for this film was spot on perfect, that nobody else could have played Mr. Rogers, and it took me a while to really agree with that, but I think I do. And the reason why it took me so long to really get on par with everybody else is because there's nobody else out there like Mr. Rogers, not a single soul. I think Tom Hanks was the best possible choice. I think he kills it in the role. I think he has all the mannerisms down, and I can really feel that kindness. He's definitely pouring everything that he has into this character, but it only proves that no matter what, even Tom Hanks is not Mr. Rogers. Still feel like it's a performance. A good performance, but still a performance nonetheless. And nobody could have ever portrayed Mr. Rogers and his authenticity other than Fred Rogers himself. It's a shame that Mr. Rogers couldn't live on forever because the way that he saw the world still remains unmatched. The way that he understood how to speak to children about feelings has never been repeated since his death, and that's just sad. But the film does what it intended to do. In my experience, it made the audience want to be a better person. It inspires something deep within us to be better, to open up to one another, to speak about things that you're afraid to speak about. But without Mr. Rogers reminding us about that every single week, we're prone to be forgetful. We're prone to anger, resentment, and bitterness. We are prone to be untrusting and pessimistic. It's human nature to see the bad in life. And even if A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood is a temporary reminder that life can be beautiful, I'll take it. There's just so few films out there to really lift your spirits in a realistic way. This is a very good movie that has a lot going for it. There was a lot of thought put into the transitions of the film as well, as if the entire thing was an episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. The transitions were all miniatures. The music was a mixture between, a typical film score for a drama and the joyful xylophone music you always heard in the TV show. I honestly don't know how you could make a movie that features Mr. Rogers any better than this. It makes the most sense, and it was made with diligent care. I really enjoyed it. I gave the film a score of 90%, 90 out of 100 possible stars, granting it the letter grade of A-. If you want to see a good, uplifting, feel-good movie, I think this is a pretty decent film that does everything that it needs to do and possibly more. If you've already seen it, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below. And as for YouTube, you know what to do. If you like this review, make sure that you hit the subscribe button because there's more like it coming out. Make sure that you hit the thumbs up button because that always helps out my channel. And don't forget about the little bell icon because that'll help notify you when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out!